Serve 'em right. There's only 800 of them, the fools. Petliura's got 1,000,000 men. He turned and started to pull the sled away. Hash. At the sound of Nikolka opening the front gate, the cream-colored blind flew up in the dining room window. The old clock ticked away, tonk-tank, tonk-tank. Has Alexei come back? Nikolka asked Elena. No, she replied, and burst into tears. The whole apartment was in darkness, except for a lamp in the kitchen where Anyuta, leaning her elbows on the table, sat and wept for Alexei Turbin. In Elena's bedroom, logs flamed in the stove, light from the flames leaping behind the grate and dancing on the floor. Her eyes red from crying about Alexei, Elena sat on a stool, resting her cheek on her bunched fist, with Nikolka sprawling at her feet across the fiery red pattern cast on the floor. Who was this Colonel Bolbotun? Earlier that day at the Shklov some had been saying that he was none other than the Grand Duke Mikhail Alexandrovich. In the half-darkness and the glow from the fire, the mood was one of despair. What was the use of crying over Alexei? Crying did no good. He had obviously been killed, that was clear. The enemy took no prisoners. Since he had not come back, it meant that he had been caught, along with his regiment, and he had been killed. The horror of it was that Petliura, so it was said, commanded a force of 800,000 picked men. We were fooled, sent to face certain death. Where had that terrible army sprung from? Conjured up out of the freezing mist, the bitter air and the twilight. It was so sinister, mysterious. Elena stood up and stretched out her arm. Curse the Germans. Curse them. If God does not punish them, then he is not a God of justice. They must surely be made to answer for this, they must. They are going to suffer as we have suffered. They will suffer, they will. She repeated the word will like an imprecation. Her face and neck were flushed, her unseeing eyes were suffused with black hatred. Her shrieks reduced Nikolka to misery and despair. Mightn't he still be alive? He asked gently. After all, he is a doctor. Even if he had been caught, they may not have killed him but only taken him prisoner. They will eat cats, they will kill each other just as we have done, said Elena in a loud voice, wagging a threatening finger at the stove. Rumors, rumors. They said Bulbotun's a Grand Duke ridiculous. So's the story of Petliura having 1,000,000 men. Even 800,000 is an exaggeration. Lies, confusion. The hard times are really starting now. Looks like Talberg was doing the right thing after all by getting out in time. Flames dancing on the floor. Once everything was so peaceful and the world was full of wonderful places. There never was such a hideous monster as that red-bearded janitor. They all hate us, of course, but he's like a mad dog. Tried to twist my arm behind my back. Outside, gunfire began again. Nikolka jumped up and ran to the window. Did you hear that? Did you? And that? It could be the Germans. Or maybe the Allies come to help us at last? Who is it? Petliura wouldn't be shelling the city if he's already taken it. Elena folded her arms across her chest and said, "It's no good, Nick, I'm not letting you go. I beg you not to go out. Don't be crazy. I only wanted to go as far as the little square in front of St. Andrew's Church. I could look and listen from there." It overlooks the whole of Podol.